हेलो ऑल, नमस्ते आप सबका। वामन मैटर्स में टुडे वी हैव ए वेरी बिग personality with us. Sir's name is Dr. Vinod Asudani, and the speciality of this our guest is that he has achieved many awards and he has done a big contribution in literature, in psychology, then in spirituality and quantum physics. Sir has also sir has also been a motivational speaker to so many people across the world, and sir has also been a Limca World Book of Record holder also. And so today, it is a very beautiful day of the year of 2024 to start this new year with sir. Namaste, sir. So my very essential question is
Namaste,
that
Rohit. How are you?
I'm also doing great, sir. I'm also doing great. Thanks for asking me out that. Sir, you have achieved big success in your life, like consistently. And my introspection says me that you have got so much success in life. So, what is the meaning of success and failure for you? Let's begin from here.
Uh, Rohit, this question is highly subjective. If you ask me what is success and what is failure, I would like to put it like this. Success is not related to accomplishments or the achievements whatsoever it may be. But success for me is something I dream, and then in course of time, if I am able to accomplish that or achieve it, then that is a success. For example, when I say 25 years ago, when I started writing poetry, I wanted to be a good poet. I wanted to be a well-known poet. That was my dream. And to share with you and all the viewers that the last month, Central Sahitya Academy, New Delhi, Government of India has declared prestigious Sahitya Academy Award for the year 2023 on my Sindhi collection of ghazals, Hath Pakad, that is Hath Pakadna, or Lend Me Thy Hand. So this has made me quite happy because I dreamed to be a writer, and now my writings have been recognized by the apex literary body, that is Sahitya Academy. So that is how I define success in life. Something, it may be a very small thing, right? It may not be a national or international achievement. Very something. If somebody wants to, pass B examination, and if he really successfully completes the B examination, then that is a success. So success has nothing to do with the quantity of the achievement. It is related what kind of dream you see, and if it is achieved, that is success.
That was a really a beautiful description that you did. And one more vital thing that I can understand from your life is that as you have a PhD in psychology also, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And there are people like throughout the world, like we have like 7 billion population on our planet Earth, and there are many people throughout the world who are like who face failures like consistently so much that it starts affecting their self-worth somewhere. And my question is that what according to you is self-worth and its relation to the big failures that a person faces? What according to you is
Uh,
self-worth?
yes, Rohit, you have asked a very relevant and very important question. Let me share with you that I am a visually challenged person. So when I was a student, when I was studying at school and then at college, I had to face a number of challenges, right? Now there is a choice in life. Challenges are bound to be there. Whatever you do, you have to face challenges, right? Then there is a choice. Either you can run away from the challenges and go back to your comfort zone, then you may not be achieving much. Then other choices, you have to face the challenges. When I say facing the challenges, it is not simply struggling with the challenges, but it is a creative process. It is a creative as well as critical process. You at your challenges analytically, critically, and try to understand what is required to overcome the challenges. And then you create those resources, you create that willpower, you create that determination so that you can overcome the challenge. Of course, it requires strong willpower. And moreover, when people fail, they not necessarily fail because of the lack of resources or because of the lack of support from the world. Majority of the people, as a psychologist, I tell you, they fail because of their internal weakness, because of their low self-perception. Their self-esteem is low. They believe that, yeah, I cannot do this. It will be difficult for me to do that. But if you are convinced, if your self-esteem is very high, against all the odds, against all the barriers that the world may put up before you, but if you are determined that, yes, I can do it. In psychology, this perception, I can do it, is called as self-efficacy. If the level of the self-efficacy in any person is high, take it from me that the chances of becoming successful are also very high. And that is what I did. I was a visually challenged person, so I had to face a lot of challenges. The books were not available in the Braille script, that is a script for the blind. So somebody had to read out the text, and many books I had to record on the audio cassettes, because those were the times when the technology was not available at all. So I had to rely upon the human assistance a lot. But I went on. My sister Usha, and then my wife Arati, and my children Asta, Vinay, and all my brothers and sisters and my friends, they helped me out. So if you connect yourself with the people, and if you create a positive environment around you, then I believe that challenges are not really big. And with this attitude, I proceeded further. And as you say that I have got a PhD in psychology, to share with you that I have got two PhDs, one in English literature from RT Nagpur University, and the second PhD in psychology. So besides being a professor of English, I am a consultant psychologist and counselor as well. So I tell you, it is your attitude that plays a very crucial role in your success or failure to large extent. I do not say that the outside factors, the environment, the resources, the support of other people, that is not important. That is important. But primarily, it is your attitude. It is your perception. It is how you believe in yourself, to what extent you believe in yourself, and to what extent you are committed to the task that you have started. If you are a student, and then you must be consistently committed to the studies. I remember when I was a student, I would study say 4 to 5 hours every day, right from the July, right from the July. And unfortunately, what has happened nowadays, when the examination results are out, only then the students start reading, just 15 days before or 1 month before. So this is not a right approach. Consistency is a very important factor in anybody's success, and I can tell you by my own experience.
That was a very beautiful description that you gave. And moving on, what I really feel is that many people nowadays are facing a lot of problem regarding which professional career choices they should make. And people do not know the right and correct way how, like which professional choice they should make, which matches their, the soul calling, which can make their way more easy. For example, you are a very much ideal example that like what tools did you use at such a young age, which helped you to make a right career choice, and that career choice brought a lot of prosperity in your life? So what message do you have, which tools we should use up when we are in a
Yeah, this is very
confusion
important.
phase?
This is very important, Rohit, because the career choice is very important. And I have seen many people after they complete their 12th class, they are simply confused that what educational course they must pursue or what career they must pursue. Here, I must tell you one thing, that everybody is not good at all the things, but everybody is good at least at one or two things. So the greatest challenge when we decide the career is to find that out at which you are really good, because each one of us has certain talent, certain potential, certain capacity, and we have to discover that capacity, we have to be aware of that potential, and accordingly we have to make choice of the career. Unfortunately, what has happened, because of the social pressure, because of the parental pressure, because of the pressure from the peer group, many people after completing their 12th class, they enroll themselves just in engineering courses or in the courses of the medicine without realizing whether they have got the necessary interest or aptitude for this. Even if they complete engineering degree successfully or the degree in the medicine successfully, because they may have good IQ, but they do not become happy in their life. After 10 or 20 years, if you look at them, they are highly frustrated, they feel highly suffocated in the life, because they can earn, because they have the technical degree, but this does not give them satisfaction or the contentment. Therefore, my piece of advice to the younger generation is to critically understand that what is there within them and in what thing they are interested in. Either they can have a self dialogue or they can consult a counselor, a career counselor, and discuss with him the career choices. A lot of people come to me to discover what they are good at. So I have been giving advice to hundreds and thousands of the students with regard to the career choice. Therefore, uh, you must take up the career that interests you, right? Because after all, in the career, one has to remain for next 40, 50 years. So you cannot do the something which is uninteresting to you, something which makes you monotonous, something that brings dullness to you, because life has to be lived with cheerfulness. Life has to be lived with happiness, because our ultimate aim on this earth is not simply to accumulate more and more money. Money is important to a certain extent, and after that it ceases to be important. After that, it is happiness that matters, it is the contentment in life that matters. There are many other factors that make your life happy. I can share my insights on that as well, being a psychologist and being a person with the philosophical bent of mind. But so far as the career is concerned, one must certainly consult the career counselor, or one must critically understand himself or herself before making a final choice with regard to the career.
Regarding this, my question is that uh, people may not, there are people who may not have that much resources to, consult a career choice expert. But as you said, a very important line, a person should critically examine herself or himself regarding the career choice, and like how a
Yes.
person will understand ki, in which career he is good at a younger age. Like, is there any writing way or is there any critical analysis way
See,
which will help that
there's
person?
very importantly, especially in the summer, especially in the summer holidays, once your 12th examination is over or 10th examination is over, for example, many of the students simply waste away the time, right? What they should do basically, they must start reading about different career choices. They must start searching for different career choices on Google and try to understand what they are expected to do once they choose this career. For example, somebody is interested in medicine, then try to understand what doctor is required to do once you start your practice. Suppose you want to be a computer scientist or computer engineer. Then you try to understand what that computer science engineer has to do. He has to write the software programs. And if it makes you happy, well and good. Do not simply go for the computer science engineering because you feel that you will be able to get a job, because there is a lot of scope in it. But even if there is a scope, even if you get a good job, all the day for 10 hours a day, right? You are required to write a computer program. You have to sit before the computer and focus on the screen, whether this is okay with you. If it is not okay with you, do not go for the computer engineering program. If somebody is interested in mechanical engineering, then try to understand the manufacturing process of the automobiles, right? Because that is the core idea there in mechanical engineering. If you are not interested in the processes of the manufacturing of the automobiles or the design of the automobiles, then mechanical engineering is not for you at all. If somebody goes for the civil engineering, then have you tried to understand the construction process? Whether you enjoy watching the workers when they are working at the construction site. If this site has never interested you, then take it from me on the stamp paper that the civil engineering is not for you. And if somebody is interested in the legal studies, have you thought what is justice, what is injustice, why these laws are us, what will happen if we do not follow the laws? If you have not confronted these kind of questions, if you have not thought over these kind of questions, then the legal profession is not for you at all. So therefore, before making a final choice, utilize your summer vacations after 10th and 12th, exploring that what person is required to do once he or she completes a particular degree. Because doing degree is not career. That is just that is an entry point into the career. Once you are in the career, only then you understand whether it suits you or not. Therefore, some time, some energy must be devoted to understand what person is expected to do. For example, somebody wants to join a teaching profession. If person is not interested in communication, if the person fears, quite low, or feels lack of confidence when studying before the 50 class of the 50 students, then certainly the teaching profession is not for that person. You should enjoy communication. You should enjoy interpersonal relationships. If you do so, only then the teaching is for you. So every profession has every profession requires certain qualities, certain approaches, certain perception, certain aptitude and attitude as well. So we need to understand whether I have this type of perception, whether I have this type of aptitude, interest, and required qualities, right? For example, if somebody is accountant, the person must be able to focus on the mathematical graphs and chart. And if the person is really extrovert, highly extrovert, that person is not a good accountant. That person cannot become a good mathematician. It's as simple as that, right? So we need to look at the psychological aspects. We need to look at the psychological dimensions of the person before going for the particular career. So it is not necessary that you should go to the career counselor. If possible, one should go to the career counselor, because career counselor is more trained, more experienced to pass a judgment about what career you will suit you. But if it is not possible, you can explore. Today the knowledge is freely available. Books are freely available. You can read some of the core books related to the different areas and try to understand whether it will suit you or not. And if you have this type of critical self-dialogue, I believe that many of the answers you will get on your own.
Sir, you have also done a big contribution on spirituality as well. And like especially in quantum spirituality, you have done a very big
Yes.
phenomenal contribution. I want to know,
Yes.
like people want to know that what is quantum spirituality and why it is so much useful to our life. So give us some insights about that, sir.
Let me tell you that right from the beginning of the human civilization, some sort of mystery has always lived with human race. And the world of the metaphysics, that is God, divinity, hell, heaven, spirituality, all these things have been mystery to human life. And different religions try to solve this mystery in their own ways. But unfortunately, uh, all these major religions, they have not been able to provide satisfactory answers to the mankind. Up to a certain point, they are okay. And if you go beyond that, they simply dwindle into the ritualism and the ceremonies and the conventions and so many things. So, first of all, if you try to understand quantum spirituality, you must remember one thing. Spiritually starts where all the religions end. Spirituality starts where all the religions end. In other words, religious person may or may not be spiritual, but the person who is truly spiritual is essentially religious. So spirituality in the first place encompasses all the religions. That is, it is a wider concept. And spirituality is what it is. It comes from the spirit, and spirit, if you try to understand, is enthusiasm. It is energy. So when you do something with your full energy, then you are spiritual. Spirituality has nothing to do with the religious matters. If you are studying and you are studying with your full energy, full focus, at that time you are spiritual. If you are eating, suppose your meals, but if you are focused on eating, you are relishing your meals, your meals, all your existence, and if you're driving the car with your entire focus, and at that time you do not pay attention to anything else, then the experience of this driving the car is spiritual experience for you. So in this sense, any act, any experience that we have on the earth can be spiritual, provided it becomes all pervasive experience. It becomes all powerful experience for you. At that time, if you are able to cut yourself the past and the future and entirely focus on the present experience, then that experience becomes spiritual. Now the question is, what is quantum spirituality? Now this term quantum spirituality basically arises out of the two different domains. One is spirituality. I have already explained. When you are at your full energy, that is spirituality. And why it becomes a quantum? So here I try to incorporate the principles of the quantum physics here. Now, if you are aware of the quantum physics, the fundamental laws of the quantum physics say that there is essential connection between the past, present, and the future. So that the linear timeline is not relevant for the quantum physics. Secondly, there is a concept of dislocation. That's something which is here. One atom is here and another atom is 10,000 kilometers away. There is entanglement between these two atoms. Although this connection between the two atoms is not visible, but scientific experiments have proven that these two atoms communicate with one another even when there is a thousands and thousands of the kilometers distance between the two atoms. They somehow connected. They act and react, right? As if they have some understanding, some connection, right? So, and another thing is the quantum approach says multiverse. There is not a single universe, but there are many universes. We may or may not be aware of that. Another important thing that quantum physics says, matter. If there is a matter, there is antimatter, right? So everything in this world has the mirror image, and there are so many possibilities. Very important assumptions. There are many possibilities, right? And out of these many possibilities, our life is one realized possibilities. If I was not born here, I could have been born at some other place in some other form as well. You do something. For example, when you are driving the car, at this particular time you are driving a car. That means this possibility of driving a car is realized, but at this time you could have done something else. You could have interviewed me, you could have taken a tea, you could have eaten a meals, you could have studied, you could have quarreled with the students, but all those possibilities are not realized because one possibility is realized, you are driving a car. So similarly, our existence is nothing, but it is one of the possibilities which is realized. And there are many other possibilities which are unrealized. Now, when you combine these principles of spirituality and quantum physics, you are at quantum spirituality. That means whatever we do, it is all pervasive. Your act, whatever you do, it is not simply going to affect you, but it is going to affect the entire universe. Whatever you say, you may feel that you are saying only to a particular person, but it is not like that. Whatever you have said, it is energy. It continues to be there throughout the universe. And therefore, we have to be compassionate. Here, you go back to Lord Buddha's compassion. He taught compassion. Compassion is the greatest virtue in this world. So the quantum spiritual practitioner has compassion, not only for the living, but even for the non-living, right? Even for the rivers, for the mountains, for the natural objects, for the animals, right? Because they are also the part of the universe. Something may be living, something may be unliving, something which is a mountain, which is unliving. Who knows that this is one realized possibility for the mountain? If this mountain would not have been there, this mountain could have been human being as well. So compassion is all pervasive in the philosophy of quantum spirituality. And if we practice this compassion, not only we will create a happier world, but we would be creating more harmonious world, and we would be creating a world where the problems of the degradation of environment would not be there. Today, the two greatest threats to the mankind are, number one, violence resulting from war or terrorism, and another greatest threat to the world is from the degradation of the environment. And both these two problems can be overcome provided we practice compassion arising out of the practice of quantum spirituality. So the quantum spirituality, in my opinion, is the answer to the two greatest problems that human race confronts today.
Sir, so I have this very vital question, which is that regarding spirituality, in a world which is driven by the greed of money, and in a world which is driven by the lust for sex, these two things, the whole world is trying to show people that it is giving a meaning to our life. But people who wish to practice spirituality, like the great icons of India, like Bhagwan Gautam Buddha, Bhagwan Mahavir, then Paramahansa Yogananda, these people have also gone through the same timeline in parallel to this event. So, how a person can find a meaning uh, from spirituality towards his own life, and why we need spirituality?
Rohit, your question is very good, and it gives me an opportunity to talk to our listeners and viewers. Now, spirituality has to be interpreted in the right manner. Number one, spirituality does not necessarily mean giving up the world. It does not mean renunciation of the world. As I have already said, spirituality is doing the thing with entire energy, with entire enthusiasm, and that is spirituality. So I do not accept the view when person gives up everything and says, he or she says, I am spiritual. Spirituality is full involvement in the action, in the drama of life. If you run away from the life, and then if you say, I am spiritual, I am a great saint, that is not valid, that is not meaningful, because you have already run away from the challenges of life. So overcoming the challenges of life is a true path of spirituality. Then the two things that you have mentioned, one is money, another is sex. Now, unfortunately, we have taken the negative opinion of both the things, and we believe that these both the things are so bad that we should give them up. And if somebody runs after money, or if somebody runs after sex, we believe that the person is bad. Now, money is not everything in life. Money has got its own space in life. It has got its own corner in life. To put the things in a simpler words, money is means. Money is means to acquire other things that are required in life. If money becomes an end in itself, only earning money becomes your purpose, then that approach is really dangerous. So you should have money to a certain extent, but you should know what you have to do with the money. So that is also essential. If you do not have that wisdom, what you have to do with the money, and only if you go on accumulating money, depositing money in the banks here and there, and creating billions of rupees, I think that is madness. So people must come out of that madness. And in India, we have many examples where people have really understood where to stop and where to how to use this money. And again, sex is bad, but love is good. Try to understand. The love is a bigger concept than that of a sex, right? In sex, there may, but in true love, there is one aspect which is known as sex. If you ask me to define the concept of love, I will tell you it is a 5-dimensional concept. Many of you will find it quite interesting, because love is a 5-dimensional concept, not only 3 and 4, but it is a 5-dimensional concept. For example, when the two people love, there can be an emotional attraction as well. So majority of the people, they consider love is only 1 or the 2-dimensional concept, but it is a 5-dimensional concept. Number one, there has to be intellectual compatibility between the two persons. That means the two persons should be able to communicate at the intellectual level, at the conceptual level. This is the first dimension. Second dimension is spiritually, they must be connected, because if you operate from a different angle, and the other person operates from altogether different angle, then there is no spiritual connection. There has to be spiritual give and take, spiritual interaction between the two persons. This is the second dimension. Third dimension is artistic dimension. You must share something related to art, right? And art is a very big, canvas. It is poetry, it's painting, it's music, it's dance, it's sculpture, and it is so many other things, fine arts, so many other things. So there has to be some artistic connection between the two people. Fourthly, emotionally, they should accept one another. There has to be emotional compatibility. And the last dimension is physical, or the erotic dimension, right? They should feel erotically drawn to each other. So intellectual, artistic, spiritual, emotional, and erotic. If you feel connected at all these 5 levels to the other person, only then I say that these two people love each other. So sex is a very precarious, it's very weak foundation on which the relationship can be built. Rather, in my theory, sex or the erotic appeal comes in the end, and that automatically comes in, right? If you are connected with the person artistically, spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally, then you don't have to do anything to incorporate erotic appeal in the relationship. That is a natural corollary of the evolution of your relationship. And relationship has to evolve, right? Remember, relationship is not the matter of the acts and the counter acts. It is not the matter of entrapping somebody. It is not the matter of ensnaring somebody. It's not the matter of cheating somebody or misleading somebody, but it is frank and open communication between two people, and that has to go through the process of evolution. Unfortunately, today, where we want to do everything with a great haste, with the necessary time to the relationship to evolve and grow, and that is why we come up.
Yeah, sir. So you, my like few last questions.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. So few last questions I have is that uh, one is the Harvard study was done about what matters in life, and they said that relationships are very much important. And in your context, I have this question that which people in your life till now mattered a lot to you? Which relationships mattered you so much that made you so much great human being you are in your life?
Uh, I have my own take when it comes to develop happiness in life. Fulfilling relationships is certainly one of the important dimensions of happiness, and other dimensions are, passion for some activity. It can be art, it can be intellectual activity, it can be social or spiritual activity. So on the one hand, you should have fulfilling relationships. On the other, you should have some passion in life, and you must spend some time, right, for your passion or for your hobby or interest. That creates happiness. Third dimension is, you know, the moderate availability of the resources. If there is a shortage of the resources, if you are worried, right, about your food and about your primary needs, food, clothing, and the shelter, then you cannot be happy in life. So to moderate extent, resources also play a role, in life. And the third thing is leisure time, right? You should not be preoccupied right from, the dawn till the very late hours of the night. People say, I work 18 hours, 20 hours, and they take pride in it. I think they are getting fatigued. They are making themselves mad with the work. So in a day, at least an hour, I would like to advise, don't do anything. Just sit and try to, experience the world around you, the sounds, the smells, the things that go before your eyes. Don't do anything, right? So leisure is another factor that makes you, happy. And the last factor is autonomy, certain degree of freedom, right? If your life is entirely controlled either by your situations or by the people around you. If somebody tells you, okay, do this, now do that, now you sit, now you stand, now you eat, now you do not eat, now you work, now you do not work. If your life is entirely controlled by something or somebody, then you cannot be happy. So to put the matter short, fulfilling relationships, passion, then certain amount of freedom, then leisure, and a certain amount of resources. These five are the important parameters that constitute happiness for anybody in this world. So as a psychologist, I approve all these, five dimensions, and this I call is a theory of happiness.
The world in which we live
Please.
and the corporations which we have and whatever things we do in our life is always driven by an outcome, that I want this, I want that. And outcome is also important because we cannot be aimless in our lives. But on the contrary, in Gita it is said that तुम तुम्हारा कर्म किए जाओ और फल की अपेक्षा मत करो या चिंता मत करो. And we are like the things which are not in our control.
No.
So what is the meaning of this whole contradiction that we see, that we should be outcome driven also, but we should not chase the full or
No,
the end
that
outcome?
is, I call it it is a seeming contradiction. It is a seeming contradiction. Don't take its worldly meaning. When Lord Krishna says, do your duty and don't be bothered about the outcome, he does not tell you simply be unaware of the outcome. Outcome is going to be there. If you do the action, if you remember third law of motion of Newton, if there is an action, reaction is bound to be there. So if you do your action, when Lord Krishna says don't bother about the outcome, it means that you should not uh, prejudge the outcome. If you do certain action, whatever reaction, whatever outcome comes out of it, you must accept it gracefully, and you should not be worried about that. You should not be under tension. Okay, if I have done this, if I have written the examination, I must get 80%. And if I get say 75, then no, why I have got 75? This is not a right way. You have written your examination. Now percentages will be declared at the time of result. So it may be 75, it may be 70, it may be 90. You had accepted it, you had expected 80, but it is not necessary it should exactly come out as 80. It may, there will be a deviation, plus and minus will be there, and we should be always ready in life to accept that plus and minus gracefully, because life is governed by millions of factors. And here my spiritual quantum spirituality is very important, because I told you, whatever you do, it is connected with billions and billions of other actions. So reaction will be there, but it will not be exactly in proportion to your action. Here we have to come away from Newton's third law, where he says reaction is directly in proportion to the action. That may be true in terms of physics, but that is not true in terms of life. You do certain things, certain outcome will be there, but it will not be exactly in proportion to your effort. So that is what exactly Lord Krishna says. You do your action and don't be bothered too much about its outcome. Whatever outcome comes, you must accept it gracefully.
That is very beautiful explanation that you gave right now. And I small like question upon this is that why should, like, there are many people who get demotivated and depressed and very much anxious, like they cannot accept the outcome in a very graceful manner. So like what does graceful manner implies? Like is it detached way, in a
See, I will tell
detached way?
you, no, yes, detachedly, but acceptance has to be there. Rejection of life is not required. If you reject the life out and out, that is not a healthy approach. For example, I tell you, I am a visually challenged person since birth. So there was choice before me. I could have said, oh, why all other people are able to see, I am not able to see. And if I would have started crying, and if I would have not done anything in my life, nobody would have cared for me. Nobody would have provided for me. Nobody would have supported me. But I gracefully accepted my blindness. I said, okay, if I am a blind, now it is a limitation. So within this limitation, whatever best possible is, I will do it. Whatever best possible I can do within the framework of my blindness, I will definitely do it. And that is what I have done. And as a result, I have succeeded beyond my expectations, right? I am professor in an engineering college, Ramdev Baba College of Engineering and Management, Nagpur. I am a poet and writer. As I told you, I received the highest literary award, that is the Sahitya Academy Award of Government of India. Then I am a motivational trainer, life coach. I have conducted hundreds of seminars in education institutes, industry, NGOs. So I have succeeded beyond my expectations, right? That is what I mean by graceful acceptance of your conditions and of your situations. I have accepted it. Otherwise, visual impairment is a big limitation in life, right? If you close your eyes just for one day, you would find that living life is very hard, very difficult. But I have been living my life without eyes right from my birth. So that is what I mean when I say accepting certain things gracefully. So if I can accept my disability gracefully, then people can easily accept smaller challenges gracefully, smaller outcomes gracefully.
Last two questions. One is
Yes.
one is which books and movies do you recommend to people that they should watch? And do you have any question to me?
So far the books and movies are concerned, I have my liking for the old classical movies of 50s, 60s, and 70s because these movies had art with regard to acting. They were artistic with regard to music and even dialogue delivery. Art was there. Unfortunately, in the contemporary movies, there is no art. It is just entertainment. So without art, if the movie is there, I do not recommend that. It has to be artistic because movie is a part of art. And so far as books are concerned, that depends upon one's choice. As I am a writer and a poet, I read a lot. I read fiction, I read poetry, I read short stories. So I recommend the young generation to read literary books because they will not only help them to improve their language, but they will widen their horizons of understanding and wisdom. Because literary masters, when they write with the wide experience of life, and their books bring a lot of wisdom, a lot of good things, and good things in the sense it opens up your eyes to the vast vistas of life and the society. So the person who is well read is surely in a better position to understand life and the world. Therefore, I recommend the literary books to the young generation. And
Like
even
any sort.
my book, as I am a poet and writer, just a piece of information. I have written 37 books, and many of them are available on Kindle, Amazon. And if somebody is interested, they can visit. And through literary lens is a YouTube channel where I communicate literature. I speak on different books, right? And the listeners can visit this channel, and they will find my recommendations on this channel. Which books they should read.
Sir, regarding literature, I want to ask, so this is the second last question. What motivated you so much to put your soul and efforts into literature that you wrote 37 books? And you got an award from Sahitya Academy in the literature also.
I was the student of literature. I did my post-graduation in English literature and Pandit degree in Hindi literature. So right from my student days, I had a passion for reading. I read many books. And when I was in the college, I was drawn to the writing of the poetry as well. And that made me happy, right? I did not write for awards and honors and the popularity because that was the activity that made me happy. So I went on writing one book after the other, and gradually it got me fame, it got me recognition, it got me awards and honors. That is the outcome, and I have gracefully accepted outcome. Even if I would not have got the honors and awards, still I would have continued to write poetry.
Wow. So the last question is, Honorable Sir, do you have any question to me?
Not a question, but I must thank you for inviting me on your channel. I'm sure that hundreds and thousands of the people, they would watch this interview and they will certainly be inspired from my experiences that I have shared with you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Rohit,
it
for
really,
giving me the
really
chance
means.
to talk to the people.
Yeah, it was my big honor that you gave the permission to take your interview. So it is a very big honor. Like, you are so much humble and down to earth. You gave the permission for the interview. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Be
Thank you.
blessed. Thanks a lot.